Wake up, everybody. The Calgary Flames play their final preseason game tonight, and it's probably going to be a good one.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess, and thank you so much for joining me. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Today, we're going to be talking about this lineup heading into the final preseason game against the Vancouver Canucks. More waiver wire talks along with some reassignments, and we're going to wrap up the show with some lessons learned, because at the end of the day, we are here to learn from our mistakes. Make sure you are subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. This is it, right? This is it. This is the final preseason game. This is your last look at these players before the season starts. A long 6-month season. A decision you make today may impact 3 months down the road, right? The lineup really does look like it's going to be the lineup for game one on, I say game one like it's like it's the playoffs. Oh man, I missed the playoffs. But what's the word I'm looking for? Season opener. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm trying to see quickly. Okay, yes, I do have the line combinations here. Sharon Govich, Kadri, and Kuzmenko on your top line, followed by Zary, Backlund, and Hanzik, with Huberdeau, Pospisil, and Mantha to follow, and Lomberg, Rooney, and Klapka rounding out your fourth line. For your defensive pairings, you have Mackenzie Weegar and Miramonov with Ball and Anderson, along with Jake Bean and Braden Pahal on your third pairing. And Vladar gets the start. He is getting the full 60 tonight. So yeah, I'm going to assume that Logan Cooley is going to end up, I keep calling him Logan Cooley. You guys, I'm sorry. Devin Cooley is going to be getting waived to be essentially sent down to the Wranglers. The fact that Sam Hanzik is playing in this game after the start to camp he had is phenomenal. That is exciting. That jump that he has made from last year to now is crazy progress. And it is great to see that the training with Martin Pospisil, has paid off or started to show its rewards. And I think any of these players, like even Adam Klapka, I did not have him making it to this point in camp with the Flames, just because I really figured Jakob Pelletier and Matt Coronato would be doing more. Matt Coronato is still banged up. I think we're all aware of that. So resting him makes a lot of sense. But Pelletier just didn't do what we all expected. I personally am excited. I know this season is not a Stanley Cup run. We're not looking at it like that. We're looking to get through to like the top 5 draft picks, or, have a good season. I feel like you're on either side there. There's no in between. But with the Flames, I feel like this is an awesome opportunity to start getting familiar with the younger players, whether it be the returning guys like Pospisil or Zary, or, you have Dustin Wolf, who has been so hungry for this position really since being drafted and has done everything right up to this point. So what can we do to help him and support him be that great player at the NHL level? Start paying attention to, guys that are kind of in between. Who are you going to end up replacing who? Who's going to take someone's job? And whose job is it going to be? I think it's really exciting to just, watch a lot of these players grow and develop. Yeah, you're going to have the older guys on your team like a Huberdeau, like a Kadri, Rasmus Anderson, and Uyghur. Those spots are guaranteed. But I do think that it's still fun to watch them integrate these young guys and this next generation of Flames players. Like, they're here. They're on the doorstep. And we know Hunter Brusewicz is going to could possibly see NHL time this season. I think that he had a fantastic camp, and if his season gets off to a great start, he is going to do wonders. And I think that's something everyone should be excited for and look forward to. But I guess, like, my final thing ahead of tonight's game is just remember that it is a preseason game. Nothing that happens tonight sets anything in stone for the regular season. Wednesday is game 1 of 82. Let's take a few days to reset and start. This is just, it's so fun. I really hope that the Flames have a season that puts them in a good position for their future, whatever that may be. But coming up next, we're going to talk about the waiver wire and who's coming and who's going here next on Locked On Flames. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. So maybe you're watching this preseason game tonight and you're like, I'm going to put money on an NHL futures bet like the Nashville Predators winning the Stanley Cup, or maybe the Vancouver Canucks winning the Cup, or how about Macklin Celebrini winning the Calder Trophy? You will get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. And that is FanDuel.com. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. I'm making Locked On Flames part of your day. We're here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. This afternoon, I'm not going to lie, leading up to 2 o'clock or 2 o'clock Eastern time, noon Mountain time, I was nervous. I figured that the Flames were going to place Jakob Pelletier on waivers. And he didn't. He was not placed on waivers, which is great. It puts the Flames in a good position. And oh no, the Flames just tweeted, okay, never mind. I thought it was going to be something, I don't know, something transaction related, but it's not. So they waived, let's see. They actually didn't waive anyone today. Today was one of the few days where they didn't put anyone on waivers, but everyone from yesterday, Walker Duehr, Dryden Hunt, and Jared Tenorti, all cleared, so they have been assigned to the Wranglers. Great. If I have to watch Jared Tenorti play NHL minutes over a young kid that's been working for it, I might just like chain myself to the Saddle Dome because That's going to drive me crazy. I don't think that he is a great defenseman, but I also don't really have many I feel like there are younger players in this organization that can do the same job, if not better than him. But Jakob Pelletier escaped waivers today, which was surprising given the fact that the roster for tonight's game came out and he was not on it. So the writing was even more so on the wall than it was before. But no, he did not get waived, which tells me something else is going to happen. Or they're just waiting to send him down, which very well could be the case. So maybe they're giving him another opportunity to, I don't know, in practices. He skated in a smaller group today, so maybe he's working on things there that they just feel like he doesn't need a full game for. I don't know. But I do feel really bad for him. I want to see him at the NHL level, and I don't want him to just kind of get tossed to the wayside. I think that it's silly to think that he is just cooked. I don't think that's the case at all. I think, yes, consistency has been an issue for him, but let's find that. Let's find that consistency within this organization and figure it out. But I don't know how much longer that leash is. This is obviously a contract year for him. Could he just do well in the AHL and, find his footing and potentially, have a trade explored? Is this a situation where he does find his footing in the AHL and then he bumps someone out of a job? Whether that be to injury or to scratches, whatever the case is, or maybe another player gets sent down, whatever it is, right? Like there is an opportunity for him still within the org, and I don't want to see us give up just like that just yet, especially where he had such a jump from last off season's fitness testing to this year. I think it's really going to be about him finding his footing again and getting that underneath him. And I hope it happens because I think that he has a great skill set that the Flames can benefit from. And a homegrown player in your organization would be pretty nice. So, like I'd mentioned, it's a contract year. He signed a 1-year deal with the Flames. But also, it wouldn't surprise me if a trade is explored. I think that that is something that I don't think there's ever a point, at least now with a lot of these younger fringe players, where trades aren't discussed. I feel like that door is always there if someone comes calling. I think that is, unless you are, Connor Zary or Martin Pospisil. But even then, I do wonder if, the return is enough, if Craig Conroy entertains it at all. I saw the win column post today that Jakob Pelletier was untouchable in the trade for Mark Stone that could have happened in the Jack Eichel trade to bring him to the Flames from Buffalo. And I believe the Toffoli trade as well. What's next? Because if you can package him in there and make something work, okay. I'll listen. Doesn't mean I'm going to do anything. I think he is someone that is so important to this organization, not just because of, their strong forecheck or anything like that, but because of the positive attitude And someone like that is going to be needed come mid-season. And I hope that he is able to find his footing. I hope that he does find success, because at the end of the day, you don't want this to be a bust. You don't want this to be a first round draft pick that does not make it to be an NHL regular. I do not think we would be in this position if he did not get hurt last year. I think it would look a little different, and we'd probably be talking about who could potentially be coming for his job, or who are some of the younger players that could play beside him, sort of deal. So we're just going to have to wait and see. And that's one of the more difficult parts of this, is the waiting game. And everyone knows that, more likely than not, your favorite player may get waived. Especially at this point in the Flames um, rebuild, because there's a lot of young guys that aren't waiver exempt. So it's not fun. And I do hope nothing but the best for really all the players that get placed on waivers. Even if, they do just have to go report to their AHL team, it is still a lot to go back and forth, and we're thinking of you. Coming up next, we are going to take a break and then come back with some lessons learned, because I do feel like there has been a lot to talk about this off season and this training camp. But what are the main takeaways that we can grow and learn from? Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. I hope you're having a fantastic week, and make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. And you can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. One of the biggest lessons, I think, with the Flames in general is that nothing is impossible. I think back to that 2021-2022 team. That team was not supposed to perform the way that they did. Don't forget, the year prior, they had fired Jeff Ward in Ottawa after losing like a bunch of games. They won, and Brad Treliving went out on the road and fired Jeff Ward and immediately had Daryl Sutter come in. Sutter got that free trial period, and then that next season they were predicted to do the same thing. It wasn't supposed to be a stellar season. It wasn't supposed to be anything. It was going to be another year of, well, the Flames may make the playoffs, but it wasn't. It was so much more. And that the magic from that season is something that I hold so deeply to me, because of how unexpected it was and how fun it was, as someone who talks about this team daily, to cover, but as a fan and to watch Flames fans, like, the celebrations unfold. It was so great to see a deserving fan base get something good for once. And I feel like we should hold on to that magic. This year it's going to be tough. There's a lot of stuff that the Flames have to work through in these next few years in order to build a team that is consistently good, like that 21-22 team. If that means the Flames finish second to last in the division ahead of the Ducks, so be it. This team is not built to exceed expectations. But it's not always a bad thing, because when you keep those expectations leveled, you do not have to stress about everything. Of course, we know the Flames' goal is to make the playoffs and to, they are a hardworking group. It is a culture that does not just get by on, well, we know the experts project us to be bad, so that's exactly what we're going to be. They want to be those underdogs. And I think that's beautiful. It shows how hard they work and how hard they want to work and what the philosophical beliefs of ownership, or I guess more so management, is. This summer was underwhelming for the most part. They traded everyone they needed to trade by the deadline. They traded I guess really trading Markstrom and Mangiapane is not underwhelming. Those are two very big things. But they didn't get anything. They didn't acquire a player that, oh my God, like this is a game changer, because they're not in a position to do that. So sometimes a quiet off season is a good one. You're not always looking to make a move if you don't have to. And I think that that's a great thing to remember going into this season, because you might be itching and begging for a trade or wondering why they're not calling on this player. But you really don't know. You don't know what's going on and if this trade fits the vision. I would do that Elias Lindholm trade over 1,000,000 times. That is the gift that is going to keep on giving for years to come. I guess, at the end of the day, we're all hoping Dustin Wolf has a big year. And by big year, I don't mean like Jacob Markstrom 21-22 season performance. It does not need to be like that. He can come in and just stop pucks and learn and get comfortable playing at the NHL level. And I think he ended his season on the right note to come back and earn that spot. And I'm really proud of what this team has done. This last month has been pretty tough, I would say. You don't go into a season expecting to have to be mourning one of your best friends. And that obviously impacts your play. And that's why, I don't think it's going to be necessarily fair to be overly critical about players like Rasmus Anderson, because criticism is due where criticism is due. But at the end of the day, these guys are human and just experienced something so unexpected and traumatic that it's still hard to wrap a lot of our heads around. And I think that that's another thing that we can go for this season. Unexpected. You never know. You do not know who might be making these jumps. No one predicted Martin Pospisil to have the season he had last year. Everyone kind of thought, okay, Connor Zary is just going to start his season in the AHL. He's battled some injuries. He's going to just need some time to make up for it and strengthen his game to play in the NHL. No. He was one of the most fun, if not the most fun player to watch on the Flames last year. I thought that him, Pospisil, and Kadri brought something so special to the lineup, and I hope that there's another group in town that may be able to replicate the same thing. And you're always rooting for these young guys, and I hope Zary has a good year. I hope Pospisil has a good year. I think that him and Hanzik working together over the summer is going to prove that he has deserved it and he has worked hard, and it's going to feel even better. Like, when you can see the results and the fruits of your labor, you're going to feel better about it. But that will do it for me here on today's episode of Locked On Flames. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. This is our final preseason game, and then next week we are talking regular season hockey. You can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto, or subscribe to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your Calgary Flames every day.